Hmm? Very good morning. This is Dr. Sridevi from PG College of Arts and Science. Am I audible to everybody? Kindly ping in the chat box, please. Thank you. Let us start today's session. On behalf of PhD Management, Secretary Sir, Principal Ma'am, and Vice Principal Sir, I welcome you all for the second session of the webinar, New Teaching Paradigm. I am pleased to have Mrs. Chitrakala Vijaykumar as our guest today. She had completed her post-graduation from PhD College of Arts and Science. She is a profound woman. She has been serving this IT industry for more than 15 years in software development, application migration, testing, and infrastructure services. She holds 10 years of expertise as service delivery manager for global customers. She is an agile practitioner and aspiring to be an agile service delivery manager. Had been a part of Tata Consultancy Services since 2004, and now she is an independent IT consultant in Boston, USA. I'm happy to welcome Mrs. Chitrakala Vijaykumar for this session of knowledge sharing. Welcome, Mrs. Chitrakala.
Thank you, Sridevi.
And some important instruction to the participants. Kindly switch off your mic and video throughout the session. After the session, if you have any questions, you can just switch on your microphone and ask your questions one at a time. And you can start your session, Chitrakala Vijaykumar. And to view his video, participants kindly pin Chitrakala Vijaykumar. Once she starts presenting his PowerPoint, you can switch your pin from Chitrakala Vijaykumar to Chitrakala Vijaykumar presentation. There will be two Chitrakala Vijaykumar after starting presentation. To view the presentation, you have to pin Chitrakala Vijaykumar within bracket presentation. Right? Now you can pin Chitrakala Vijaykumar. Participants, have you all pinned Chitrakala Vijaykumar? Respond me in the chat box, please. Then we can start our session. Okay. Kindly all of you pin Chitrakala Vijaykumar as the speaker today. Yes, thank you. Chitrakala, you can start your session now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sridevi. I hope everyone can hear me and also see me. Okay, so thanks a lot, Sridevi, for an impressive introduction. I appreciate that. And thanks everyone for joining this session. And I know it is like during this new normal days, it's a bit challenging to be normal and then lead a new normal life. So thanks to everyone, and I appreciate that, and welcome to this session. So we'll just get into the presentation, and you just let me know whether you're able to see the information on your screen. So let me start presenting the slides now. So any audibility issue or you're not able to see the video, please do post it in the chat box. We'll try to see. Okay. So is everyone able to see the presentation?
Participants, kindly pin Chitrakala Vijaykumar presentation. Okay.
Okay, so are we all good to start? I hope yes. So if any comments on who are not able to see the presentation, probably Sridevi, you can just alarm me. So rest all can go on mute.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this session on stop starting, start finishing. So for now, I will leave it to your imagination what this particular statement means. But I'll ensure that at the end of this session or when we conclude this discussion, I'll definitely make sure we all get a meaning of this particular statement, and it means different things to different people. So we all take away with that particular input and then start working in the agile way. So without further delay, let us jump on to the Agile way. So what's in store for us today? So first, we are going to talk about why Agile. So, as a best practice, it is always good to start with why certain topic is being picked up, because it always gives a vision and also the objective set throughout the discussion. And I can ensure that what I believe, you also believe at the end of the session. So we are going to start with why Agile. And as a norm, we are going to also discuss about what does Agile means. Then, because Agile has been a buzzword for quite some time, what are the benefits it is going to yield and what values we can take out of it? That is something which we are going to see as the next topic. And Agile techniques. So we are going to discuss about very briefly few of the Agile techniques which are being practiced in the software industry and also in different other industries. The next topic, we are going to talk about success story. Here, I'm going to present a case study how the Agile way of working has benefited me personally and also the deliverables what I was responsible for delivering in the organization where I worked previously for one of the Netherlands based customer. Because the moment I share it as a case study, it gives a lot of experience to you guys, and I think that is the best way to market why Agile is so important nowadays. Then the next topic comes Agile everywhere, where I have just collated where and all Agile can be practiced. So the list was very big because Agile can be implemented in every other industry, including our normal day-to-day life. So let us see some funny aspects where we can have Agile and how we can improve the effectiveness of what we do. The other topic, the next topic is responsibility quotient. This is one of the important topics as academicians or as uh, suppliers of a major workforce to the IT industry, what you can take away and what you can tell the students, which will benefit them in the future when they get into the industry. So I think that we are going to see in the responsibility quotient. And the last one is Q&A and any other business. So we'll first focus on what are the questions or any clarifications you have with respect to this particular context. And we can also discuss anything in general out of this Agile context. You're more welcome. So I'll try to help, or I'll try to clarify whatever I know. But if I'm not able to clarify, I can definitely get back through different means. And I have left my contact details at the end of the presentation. We can all touch base later for any clarifications as well. So hope I have set the stage. So when I'm talking about what is in store for us today, and I have given few pointers, we should also understand what I'm not going to talk about, because I just want to set the expectation very clear so that there are no disappointments. So in this particular discussion, we are not going to discuss anything about how agile project management works or what are the ways to manage an agile project or a software development, scrum, sprint, kanban, or anything of that sort, because we all know that agile is not new. Many of you would have already taken up agile as one of your thesis or research paper, and many of you would have got successful completion as well, because agile is not very much new. So if you want to learn about agile project management methodology or software development methodology, there are a hell lot of information or resources available in the internet. Just with one Google search, you can get into a lot of things, and there are a lot of certification materials, dumps, videos, etc. So you can definitely go ahead and then look at those details in those presentations or videos. But this particular discussion is going to be in very, very generic terms where a layman can also understand. So this particular discussion will serve as the stepping point if someone wants to dig in more about Agile. So hope I have set the stage correctly, and please reserve your questions towards the end of the session. So we'll see whether we can have an interactive question and answer, or we'll see whether it can be posted in the chat box. It depends on how the session goes. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, why Agile? So as I told, Agile is not a very new topic. Agile buzzword has been there for almost 2 decades. Okay, this agile practice, we all know that we got influenced from the manufacturing industry, and then it got adopted through Agile Manifesto, and it has been widely being used in IT industry. So what is so much important, or what is the beauty of this Agile, though it is 20 years old methodology or a framework, why people are still following this, or why it is still being a hot topic for discussion? Because though it is pretty old, it evolves continuously. During its evolution, the perspective or the priorities it sets to different parameters, it's really beautiful. Like you were valuing something as very much important or priority in the previous traditional methods, and now Agile has completely changed the perspective, and it is giving you a different parameter which needs to be prioritized. So this particular why Agile, we are going to discuss about what are those perspectives Agile has uh, given the practitioners to value more. So those are the parameters we are going to see in this why Agile slide. So before getting into those parameters, what is valued over what, and what should be perceived more important than something else, we'll first get into certain basic information on the industries what we have, and what are the current industrial revolutions which are happening. So any industry we can categorize into 2 major categories. One is product, the other one is service. I think I need not explain much on this, because product is something you're manufacturing, services where you create some value for your customers. Just for a basic example, the car Toyota or Maruti Suzuki will be a product-based company, whereas banking is a service-based company. Okay, so these are the 2 major categories of the industry, and IT can be well fitted into both the kinds of industry. And both of these industries, both product and service-based industries, they're all looking up to IT for satisfying the current demands. And we all know that we are in the Industry Revolution 4. If you have thought 4, please give a high five to yourself. So we are in the Industry Revolution 4, and it is already kind of a decade we are going to complete in this revolution. So Industry Revolution 4, it focuses on the complete digital transformation, whereas automation, machine learning, artificial intelligence, all those things are playing an important role to simplify the production and increase the production, and also the services what you're delivering to the customer. When if you take about Industrial Revolution 3, which is called as an information era, where we got democratization of the information through internet, with that, the Industrial Revolution 4 concentrates more on the robotics culture. So we are living in an app world where a lot of things are automated. So that is the power of artificial intelligence, machine learning. We have drones, we have bots. When you log into a banking site, there is always a virtual assistant popping up to ask for help. If you need any help, you can just get chat with them. So there are a lot of questions preset what a customer would ask, and the bot will automatically respond to those questions to the customer. So that is called as the robotics or artificial intelligence or machine learning. So another example is every day we are using Gmail. Earlier, Gmail never used to classify the mails, and it is all the user's headache where you need to get rid of certain mails like promotion or certain mails which are coming as advertisements, a lot of other things. Now I think it is nicely classifying into different buckets: promotion, which are from Facebook, whichever are spam, junk. So there is an intelligence component involved in every single thing. So that makes the user's experience valued much, and also it makes the user's life easier. So during this Industrial Revolution 4, as we are living in this particular robotics era, it is always the other industries always look up to the IT industry for innovation and also resiliency. There are a lot of companies have changed their operating model, or they have their new business strategies to cope up with this Industrial Revolution 4. So there is a big challenge given to IT as well to automate certain things and have resiliency in place. Before Industrial Revolution 4, we have been talking about reliability more, but now we are talking about resiliency. The basic difference is reliability is your system's rate at which it doesn't fail. It is like reliable means it doesn't encounter any failure. Okay, but the new keyword resiliency means even if it fails, how soon it recovers. So that shows the adaptability and the automation. So automatically it has to come up, and then it has to do the intended job. So that is how the IT industry is being looked up by other industries, and IT has been always or constantly posted with innovation and resiliency challenges. So since we are in this kind of a situation, Agile has given a way to satisfy these kind of demands by following certain methodologies or by prioritizing certain parameters over certain other parameters. So let us go into these parameters. So hope so far so good. Any hiccups or anything you're not able to follow or anything, please post it in the chat box. So let me continue with the parameters. The first one is outputs versus values. Traditionally, we have been, if you take the conventional method or conventional way of working, it gives more importance to generating a lot of outputs. But the new method or the agile way of working is, if something is generating value, then that can become an output. Please do not create any output which doesn't give any value to anyone, or especially to the customer. So that is how this perspective has changed. For example, when I talk about the conventional way of working, let us come to the IT industry's conventional way of software development. I think we all might have studied or understood the waterfall methodology or incremental way or prototyping, whatever it is. Let us take one of the methodology which is very familiar, which is waterfall. So we have a very sequential phase, and at the end of each phase, we deliver lots of documents, be it requirements analysis or users requirement specification. So these documents need a lot of effort to prepare, and after that you get it reviewed, and then you deliver it to the customer. And I think that is where still whatever we the document, whatever we generate and give it to the customer in a perfect way, still once you complete the software development, still there will be gaps. What does it mean? because whatever document you deliver to the customer, it is of no use, because it will all be in technical jargons and user may not be able to understand. He will simply approve it to proceed to the next phase. So those kind of way of working is avoided in the new agile way of working. If it creates a value, please go ahead and then do it. And value, when we talk about value creation, it is not only about the customer. It's not only for the customer. It is a value co-creation for every other stakeholder who is involved in that value process. Okay. So I make sense. That's what I assume. Let me just give a very practical example. You want your child to learn spelling of a very maybe a difficult word. Maybe I'll take a word beautiful. So you want your child to write 10 times the spelling of beautiful. Okay. So your child writes B, B, B 10 times, E, E, E 10 times. So you will finally get the 10 times that word written as an output, but has it created the value? So the value which needs to be created for the child, that is getting to know the spelling, that is not created. And the value what you wanted, that is your kid knowing that spelling, that is also not created. So that is how most of the conventional ways are just taking the efforts but not creating the values. So let us make sure that whatever we do, it's not only in the IT software development. So whatever we do, let us see if we are creating an output and if there is an outcome from something, just ensure that it creates a value for the stakeholders involved. Okay. Moving on to information versus experience. I think it goes hand in hand with the previous pointer as well. So we spend a lot of time in creating information and or creating theories which the stakeholders may not be even using it or may not be even understanding it. Instead, create an experience so that they value it more and they remember it and they keep using it. It is like when you want to give a class on some particular tool, instead of telling it in theory, I think if you go with a demo, I think that creates a great experience from the students, isn't it? So that is how the traditional and the new methodologies differ. So you always value the customer's experience over the information or the output what you produce. I think we all might be using Skype now because new normal is there, and we are talking to our friends or relatives in Skype. So I think immediately after Skype call, it asks you to rate the quality of the call, isn't it? So that's kind of a immediate feedback it requires, so that based on your experience, what happened in the call, you can immediately rate the quality of the call. That gives a better feedback and that gives a better resolution if something goes wrong. Instead of not asking the quality, how the quality of the call, immediately after the call they send a mail and then ask you the rating, we won't be even able to do it, or we just ignore it, isn't it? So experience is very, very important, and feeding back that experience is also very, very important. That we will be seeing in the next other pointers. So the third point is predictable versus adaptable. Just for your easy reading, all the left-hand side parameters are what was there or what was being taught in the conventional way or the traditional way of working. All the right-hand side parameters are from the new way or new way or the agile way of working. So coming to the predictable versus adaptable. So predictable, we all know that it is like that in the traditional way you have set of processes or you have a set of algorithms which will be kind of formulated at the beginning of the life cycle itself, and we will be asked to follow that particular process. So whereas predictable is kind of very much futuristic, if we take the other side of it, which is adaptable is kind of a concentrating on the present. Okay, so in predictable, it is always like forcefully whatever has been formulated at the beginning of the life cycle start, be it software or anything else, it has to be followed no matter what changes are coming in between, and how to react those things. So it was not prepared in the predictable process, but in adaptable process, definitely you give a positive response to the changes what occur during the life cycle, and it concentrates more on responding to the present. So just to give some examples how adaptability has been a major factor for the organizations which are innovating. Okay, so let us take Amazon. I think with this COVID-19, many people, or at least in US region, you all know the status, and we are literally scared to go out and then buy groceries. So that is when Amazon has been a greater partner for delivering your stuffs online. Okay, I think now India is also kind of getting into that pandemic where cases are increasing. Amazon just did one particular thing. The advantage in India is for every street you will have one grocery shop. So Amazon has tied up with many of the local grocery stores to sell their products online. So it was a win-win situation for both Amazon and also the local grocery stores, where they wanted to get into online, and it was a great win for the people also. So this is how the adaptability comes in. You need to be always responding positively to the changes, and that will definitely result in the better way of working. Let me give, this is a positive example where Amazon has changed its strategy to respond to the COVID-19 situation. There are other companies, for example, Kodak. I think we all know Kodak, the film-based cameras, which were ruling the photography industry some time back. I think now Kodak has shut down its business because it was not able to withstand the digital transformation or the competitive advantage what has shown during the different industrial revolutions. Same way for Nokia. The Nokia phones were one of the largest numbers which people were using earlier, but since they were not able to adapt to the user's experience, I think they stopped the production of the mobile phones. Take Yahoo. Yahoo was one of the powerful search engines before Google came into play. I think Yahoo missed a lot of strategic wins. It had opportunity to buy Facebook, but I think the strategy didn't go to that extent, and they were not able to adapt to the changing conditions, and they were not able to take the competitive advantage. So that is when I think Google has taken up, and it took that competitive advantage, and now I think most of us are using Google for the search engine. So adaptability is one of the important parameter. We being in IT industry, if you want to innovate, and innovation is the only sustainability for the IT industry, and industry should be adaptable to innovate. Okay. Next comes to the point process versus people. So the traditional way of working is you set up 10 defined algorithms and you work on that process or force people to follow that particular process. But in people-centric approach, which is modern methodology or agile, you give importance to people, because without people, it is not the process which will succeed all alone. People who will make the process successful. So the modern methodology has evolved to give a lot of importance to people-centric approaches, and processes are going to be made flexible for the people, and not the people will be made flexible for the processes. So that is the modern way of working. Okay, coming to the next pointer, longer versus shorter feedback loops. Nowadays, everyone wants the feedback, or everyone wants to experience what the other customer or the stakeholder is experiencing by delivering your product or by using your software. I think that way the shorter feedback loops gives the real feedback, and it also motivates the team to get into the issues and focus on that and deliver the resolution faster. So in the traditional way, the feedback loops were longer. For example, in a waterfall methodology, if you want to develop a software, by the time the user sees the software, it will be almost a year or more than that. And the particular customer who gave the requirement, he may be within the organization or he is not in the organization. So there is no backward flow of the feedback. So it is just a sequential flow, front to, I mean, it just goes on to the next steps. Is there any question? I'm getting some audio noise. Good to go? Okay. Sridevi, are we good to go?
Yeah, you can proceed.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So, okay, I was with the waterfall model, where to know whether the software conforms to their requirements or not, we may have to wait for longer time. But with shorter feedback loops, where you deliver some product incrementally, get the feedback from the stakeholder, incorporate if any gaps, and then deliver it again, so that the team is also continuously engaged, motivated, and the customer is also collaboratively working, and he gives the real feedback, which is actually the real requirements. Okay, fine. Getting on to detailed versus just enough. Again, no need to say, because the conventional ways are working with a detailed way of operation, wherein you create a document in a very detailed way, and finally that is not being used by anyone. And even there is a statistics. If you in an IT industry, whatever software developed using a conventional way, if you take that software product features, only 15% will be often used, and some majority of the portion, like 40 to 50%, will be just lying. It will not be used at all, those features. So we are not giving importance to what is needed more, but we are giving importance to what is not needed, and we spend effort to create that and all those things. So in the new methodology or agile methodology, you just create document or whatever it is, use cases or test cases, whatever it is, in a just enough way. So whatever you create which doesn't add value, that will be just discarded, and we just proceed with just enough. Just enough and just in time will always succeed. Okay, coming to governance versus self-organization. So governance is where you have a management in place, you have a team leader, you have a project manager, you have again top level layers in a conventional organization or any conventional project what you do. So those things are kind of top-down approach. The manager tells what the lead should do, the lead tells what the team should do, and team doesn't have any say sometimes. But in case of self-organization, you allow the teams to self-organize themselves, and everybody has a role to play there. It's not one person knows more and he acts as a lead. No, here everyone knows at the same level, and everyone has an equal role to play to achieve a common goal. So that is the kind of direction all the organizations are heading to now, and that is when the results will be more effective, and that is being achieved with the modern way of working or the self-organized way of working. I think it's a very simple example. Even you can see at your home. You all you say your kid, okay, try to put some controls on the activities what he or she is doing. I think that will be done 10 times. But if you make them to self-organize and then do whatever they want, I think you get better outcomes. I think nobody would deny that. So that is how the organizations are also moving. So real life also we can try to practice that. Coming to the next topic, which is conventional versus lean. I think conventional we have talked enough, and lean methodology is nothing but, yeah, you are making your development or any activity very narrow, which is giving more important to the final goal or a common goal, and you avoid all the unnecessary resources or unnecessary wastages, and then make your process lean, simple. So the chart which is on the right hand side of your presentation is one of the lean cycle, which is PDCA. You plan an activity which is smaller and manageable in size, do that, check it, and act for the further improvement. So this simple cycle can be followed for any action we want to take and any action we want to do it effectively or efficiently with less resources and less wastages. So this is one of the lean methodology: plan, do, check, act. You can deploy this in even a very small activity in your teaching or in your travel planning, whatever it is. So this definitely works. Okay. So some more pointers continued on conventional and agile. Top down versus bottom up. I think we spoke about in the governance and self-organization. So always the agile methodology or agile way of working, if you start it within the team and then take it to the next upper levels, it will always work. Instead of changing the complete organization agile and then cascading that to the teams, have seen a lot of failures. So let us focus more on bottom up approach, because that is when the teams will be more self-organized and they will take the ownership, and that can be cascaded to the top layers, and the organization can easily change to agile way of working. The next one is inclusive and non-inclusive leadership. Yeah, in conventional organization, or maybe I can give an example of typical government organization, where the top or the senior member, whatever he or she says, I think there is no other say from the subordinates. But the industries which they want to adopt to the new way of working, they need to have inclusive leadership, which means that the team members will also have a say, and they will also have certain valid pointers to get the common goal achieved. So that is when their opinion matters a lot. So that comes inclusive versus non-inclusive. I think I have interchanged. Non-inclusive should come in the left side and inclusive should come in the right side, because inclusive is the modern way of working. So coming to exploitation versus exploration. Exploitation is nothing but, again, it is algorithm based working or process driven working. Exploration is you give them power, you give them freedom, and or the team or the subordinates or the organization's people, you give them freedom and ask them to explore what they want to achieve, and that is when we get more creative or more innovative solutions rather than following the standard set of procedures. The last one is management versus autonomy. While I also agree that management is great, autonomy is something which will engage the people of the organization in a better way. There is a study which has been conducted, and that shows that the new way of appreciation in any organization is not that somebody will be awarded with best performer or best resource, and you give them some perks like in terms of some coupons, Amazon coupons or something. That is not the way of motivation the people are expecting. Instead, they want to explore and they want to put their hands freely and they want to create a lot of things. So giving autonomy or giving them the power has been the best way of motivation of the workforce. So this has been proved. There are two case studies which I have read recently, which was really interesting. There is a company called Atlassian, which is an Australian based company. They are the product owners of Jira, which is a bug tracking tool. Maybe you can just Google it if you want to get more details on it. What they have done is once in a while, they just tell the employees, yeah, they definitely, when they come to office morning to evening, they'll have some standard set of works. Maybe they need to work on certain deliverables, they need to work on certain support tickets or whatsoever. But once in a while, the company gives them to work whatever they want to work. There is no predefined set of things they need to follow. There is no predefined set of algorithms or process they need to follow. Just they have to put their hands freely and then just test something and then they can work on anything. And then the company observed that most of the issues what they were having in the product or what they were having in the support tickets were fixed very effectively when you give that freedom to the employees. And now that is being kind of cascaded to other organizations. It need not be only in IT, it can be in any organization, or it can be in your home as well. So autonomy, another giant technology giant, which is Google, they also started practicing this autonomy. 20% of their employees time will be it is their free hand trying. Okay, so they can use that time to try on their own freely, and that is where they got so many innovators, and innovation is the only way to have the survival in this industrial revolution. Okay, so hope I made little justice to the agile way of working, and how the conventional way was prioritizing certain parameters, and how the new methodology, which can be deployed to any kind of organization or any way of any action what you do that can be deployed, how it has given a different perspective to those parameters. So are we good to continue? Can yeah, you can ping in chat box if anywhere I want to pause, or you want to add something. Maybe I'll just wait for 1 minute. If we are good to go, let us go. Please communicate in chat box. It's pretty much difficult to assume my computer screen as the audience, because it's very easy to see people in person and then talk. I'm maybe my view is going somewhere else, but sorry for that.
It's good going, Chitrala ma'am. You can just continue.
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks for your patience. Okay, what is Agile? So now I think I have given different parameters which will be yielded as part of following the Agile methodology. Now we will go on to certain definitions of the Agile. Agile. First is the dictionary meaning is moving quickly and easily. But it is, we have been told like slow and steady wins the race, isn't it? So, but Agile says moving quickly and easily. So, how it actually conforms to that particular statement? Agile is not something which will tell you how slowly or how fastly you have to move. Instead, it will tell you how to respond to the race. So, that's all about Agile. It is more than a prescription, it is a perspective. It is your mindset. It's not that somebody gives, okay, if you follow this, you are agile. If you follow this, you are agile. No, that is not agile. It is an inner transformation of how you view things and how you make use of the existing resources in an effective way and deliver the things which will co-create the value. So that is why it is a perspective compared to prescription. The third one is taming complexity. So what I look agile as is whatever is looking very complex, if I want to tame it and if I want to get ahead with it, I think agile is the way. Uh, you all might have seen the movie The Life of Pi. I think the tiger Richard Parker is the complexity, and we are all living the life of Pi. Okay, so when the Pi has to survive Richard Parker in a single boat, and he has to cross that ocean, he decides to tame Richard Parker, and he knows that that is the only way to survive. And that is where agile is also giving you that confidence or giving you the techniques to tame the complexity what arises either in software development or in the real life or in any other action you do. Okay, and as I told, it is a mindset and it is a cultural shift, and it is definitely not a set of procedures which you will follow. Okay, then it is iterative and incremental. Agile methodology or the new norm is always delivering something, and it is always delivering in a very short interval as well. So when you take conventional methodology, as I told, it might even take 1 year to see a software product, right? But in agile, you deliver something every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks. That is when you collaborate more with your customer, and incrementally you are delivering something always. And agile is value centric. When I talk about value, earlier all the IT organizations were giving so much focus to the customer satisfaction and customer value creation. But now with this new methodology, it is value co-creation, not only for the customer, it is for all the stakeholders who are involved in that value cycle. The last point is it's a journey and not the destination. You can never be 100% agile, because agile is all about continuously improvising what you have done and delivered, and you always look for opportunities to continuously improve, and it is the journey you take, and it is definitely not the place you will reach. So this is what is agile, and I think many of you are able to relate to the real life scenarios or real circumstances more than IT industry, and that is what I wanted to achieve in this discussion as well. So, coming to agile benefits, I think we kind of discussed few of the pointers in the why agile part itself. Enhanced quality, yes, because of the right feedback, what you get at the right time, because shorter feedback loop, better customer experience. Definitely, you're generating a good customer experience by collaborating with them very frequently and adding value, all those things. Transparency in agile, within the team also, everyone knows what the other person is doing. So you cannot contain the knowledge with you as a team when you're working. So agile team is always transparent, and that transparency is achieved with other stakeholders also, not only within the team and not only with the customer. You be transparent with every other stakeholder. And predictability, though it is little contradicting with adaptability, but predictability is something where you actually manage the risk in a better way and then predict that you can respond to the changes in a positive way. And the next point is ease of doing alterations. Yes, because your cycle is going to be very, very less, and you're going to go one step at a time. Ease of doing alterations at a later stage is very easy than compared to the traditional way. Continuous engagement. In a traditional way or in a waterfall model, once the requirement is gathered, there is no job for people who gathered the requirement. When the coding starts, only coders will work. Others may not be effectively utilized. But in an agile way, everyone knows everything and everyone has a role to perform to achieve a common goal, and they get continuously engaged, and there is no free time, and the customer is also continuously engaged. You're not going to meet the customer 1 year down the line and you don't even know who the customer is. Okay, so the continuous engagement, maybe you can compare it with 2020 cricket match where every single ball counts, and you don't have the luxury of wasting even a single ball. So that is an agile way. So these are the values. The right hand side, what I have in the circles: excellence. Definitely you are going to deliver what is required and also outperform your customers' needs and wants, and be real within the team. There is honesty and always integrity. You always stand up for each other, and the team is always passionate because they always learn, or they get the opportunity to learn, and they are kind of valued as one of the important stakeholder in the agile transition. Collaboration: the teams collaborate because every day you you conduct a stand-up meeting in a agile software development, and every other team knows what the other person is doing, and you have a positive collaboration with the stakeholders and also the customer. Determination: yes, because your timelines are going to be very aggressive, and you're going to have one step at a time and one goal, one focus. Definitely the team is having a determination, high determination. And respect: here there is no one acts as a lead, and no one tries to boss around. Here every individual have respect for each other, and that is how the agile values are created. And you can have an agile, when you are successful in creating an agile team, you are successful in delivering the agile action as well, which can be agile software or anything else. Okay, agile techniques. I think these are the names which you might have already heard if you already learned about agile. Scrum is one of the basically this Scrum is originated from the rugby game. So Scrum is one of the powerful agile development or project management methodology, where it guides you, or it tells a lot of frameworks where you can deliver a software by following certain agile mechanisms. Kanban is for having a visibility of what is being started and where I am currently and what needs to be completed. So it gives a complete visualization so that you focus on what needs to be done next. And you have lean methodology, which I have already told: plan, do, check, act. And feature driven development, where one feature at a time you develop and then you deliver, so that the workable feature is available for the user at any point in time. And extreme programming, yeah, that is also one of the agile delivery methodology. And safe scaled agile framework, it is not for a single project, but it is for the complete organization if you want to transform it into agile. So these are the agile techniques. Each one has a very broad or detail, each one needs a detailed understanding. Since this discussion is not all about agile techniques, we are not touching in detail about this, but definitely these resources are available in internet. Okay, let me share the agile success story. This we have done for one of the construction customer or engineering consultancy in Netherlands, where I was playing the role of service delivery manager. So the problem statement was customers backup infrastructure. Customer needs to back up certain office documents, and their offices are in 36 different locations all over the globe. And their backup infrastructure, where they were taking the backup of those office documents or the building designs, everything, that infrastructure was coming to a support end, which is life cycle management basically. So that comes to end of support. And there was a push from management that a new solution should also be cost effective and it should be scalable, because later they may even expand their offices globally to 50 or 100. So whatever solution you give, it needs to be scalable. So solution was simple, because they wanted a cost effective solution, and cloud was the best way to use, because we need to pay for what you use. So it's a cloud service, a cloud infrastructure as a service model we adopted. And we just had 2 members in the team, and they were energetic, just out of college, just completed 1 year in TCS, and they were just out of probation. But they had a huge thirst of learning new things. Within that 1 year, they upgraded outside the project activity in cloud. So that is when I think we believed them, and we made them responsible for this delivery, and it was a very flexible team. If I have to, I need not tell anything, though I was the managing them. It was a flexible team. If they have to stretch and then work till 2 o'clock, yes, they were doing it. And next day, I will not expect them in the office at 9 o'clock. So that was the flexibility they had, and we gave the complete trust and freedom for the solution designing. We did have a solution architect, but his intervention was not required at all because the team was handling it in a very, very effective way. And we did one step at a time. For one small office, we rolled out and we measured the success factor, and then we rolled out to the other offices. Definitely, there were learnings in the first office rollout, and we incorporated all those improvements in the next office rollouts. So it was scaled for user growth. If suddenly one office, currently it has 50 users and it goes to 100 users, and their document, whether it can be stored, yes, because we were using cloud, it is pay for your use. If you use more, you pay for more. That's it. And there was a continual improvement which we were focusing to monitor this backup infrastructure and automate them. So everything was achieved. And I am going to say one more interesting factor or fact of this particular success story. We never used any of the agile technique, never used Scrum to manage the list of activities, never used Kanban, nothing. So if you're doing agile with some techniques, that doesn't mean that you're being agile. So what we need at the most is you be agile and be the change you want to see. So that is what I wanted to share. And agile techniques, yes, which will definitely guide, but it is not mandatory that you need to always use an agile technique to be agile. Hope I made sense. Okay, so we'll quickly wind up because I'm just checking the time. Agile everywhere, yes, definitely. Agile, from the discussions what we had now, agile is not the methodology which is only being practiced in IT industry. It is everywhere in your day-to-day life, even in cooking. That's what I'm going to talk about. So software maintenance and managed services, yes, not only in development, it can be used in maintenance activities or any enhancement activities, or it can be used in any managed services or in service desks, call centers. Call centers, what I mean is IT enabled services. When a user calls and how you can rectify those calls faster way. So agile techniques can be used. All you need is a very energetic agile team. In real life, yes, you can definitely use in plenty of things. And the interesting thing is cooking. There is a way of cooking, one pot one shot. Okay, it is a scientific way of cooking, especially suitable for South Indian dishes. You can just Google it and see. That will reduce the amount of resources you are using and reduce the timeline for which you take for cooking. It's quite interesting. I think this will be very much helpful for those who are spending a lot of time in the kitchen, and after cooking the consequences will be washing. So when you are using one pot, I think those consequences will also be addressed. So probably if you're interested, you can look at it. So agile is everywhere, and agile is the way forward, is what I think. So you can use it in your child's homework planning and your travel planning. And if you are a person every day morning, if you are a person who actually puts a list of to do activities, you're already an agile person. Okay, so give a pat on your back. You can because whenever you put a to do and when you complete it and you put a tick mark against it, the satisfaction you get is kind of tremendous, isn't it? And that will force you to do the other activities with the same effectiveness and efficiency. That's what I believe. The next is DevOps. It is another buzzword. It is the direct successor of Agile. And in DevOps, so far Agile has been used in only the software development methodology. But with DevOps, you are going to integrate Agile way of working from development to deployment, and then to operations, and then to your support services. So DevOps I think it's another vast topic, so I'm not getting into more of DevOps here, but DevOps is another key thing or another hot topic, which is where all the organizations are getting ahead to, because DevOps purely based on automation. Okay, you automate everything. You don't have any physical intervention once you develop and then give it for deployment. It takes care of everything, environment preparation, everything it takes care of. So that is DevOps. So if any of your students asks, what is my current, what I can learn to be at par with the industry growth, yes, DevOps is one of the things. And definitely Agile too. Yeah. Next, coming to the responsibility quotient. So this is where I want to tell certain perceptions, what the IT industries are looking for, and the colleges and universities being one of the major suppliers or the producers of the future workforce. So we need Imagineers. We don't need any engineers who can just do whatever been given to them, and whatever they don't want to work in a programmed way. And the person who is kind of a left brain person, where he uses the left brain more, I think they are just non-creators, or they are not innovators. We need Imagineers who uses their right side of the brain more, and Imagineers can only bring in change, and they can only innovate, and that is when they can help in the organizations to sustain. Okay, so this is what basically the IT industry is looking for. And the cultural shift, all those young aspirants who are going to get into IT industry, they need to definitely have a cultural shift. It's not a 9 to 5 job, and it's not a kind of a job where you can get high pay and within some years you can come and settle down in US. No, the different mindset has to come, that what they can give for the industry, and it is a coexisting with social responsibility as well. So please impart those things with the aspirants. I think from now on, if they are groomed in that way, it is very good for them, and it is a win-win for both students and also the IT industry. And the third point, very important point, is software development is not all IT. I do address the freshers when they join in my previous organization, that is TCS, and everyone is so fond of development, writing code in Java, writing code in .NET, because I have studied so much. No, the perspective should change, because development is no more needed. Most of the software products are available off the shelves. There are so many companies which are making softwares for specific use, and you can customize it and use it for your organization as well. But they also need to see what is beyond development. It could be administration, it could be, as I told, the agile way of working, the support services, IT's IT enabled services, whatever it is. So they need to have that agile mindset, which means the open mindset or the flexible mindset to accept what comes in when they join the IT industry. And education 4.0. I was just telling about Industrial Revolution 4, and where organizations have been changing their operating model to suit their business needs. That is called as Business 4.0. Same way, we need to have Education 4.0, where you can exploit the digital transformation technologies and then use them in learning, and just enhance the or enrich the experience of the students who are learning uh, about computer science, or for that matter, any major. Then comes holistic learning. Holistic learning, what I mean here is, so far, it is like the education institutions, they get some advice from the industry practitioners for framing the syllabus, and then we also give certain inputs, and the syllabus is framed. And after that, I feel there is a detachment. What I mean as holistic learning is continuously interacting with the industry. There are many organizations which has academic interface programs, be it a quiz, be it a coding contest, or be it some guest lectures, whatever it is. please make use of them, and always have a holistic learning from all other platforms, not only from the colleges and the faculty members of the colleges. Definitely, they'll give you 80%, 90% of the knowledge, but I think that 10% which will add more value should come from holistic learning. So probably as academicians, if you are taking these pointers and then tap it right way, I think we can definitely create a very good workforce in future. Okay, I think I'm 5 minutes late, but that's okay, I guess. So I am done, and we can discuss question and answer or any other business. And these are my contact details. I'll just present this for a few minutes. Probably you can take it down, or uh, maybe after a minute I will stop sharing and I'll come back to the video mode. Sridevi, hope it is fine.
Yeah, it's very fine. Very nice presentation, Chitrakala.
Oh, thank
And
you very
we are
much.
really appreciating your broader knowledge on all the areas, applying agile technology in all the areas, including cooking and higher education too. And
Yeah.
I think we already started value-based education system in higher education
Okay.
sector, which is
Yes.
actually an agile method. And you
Okay.
have explained the practical way of applying agile in software development and even in higher
Okay.
education sector.
Oh,
Thank you very
okay.
much. Very nice presentation, and we are all
Yeah.
impressed with the presentation and the way you explain things with simple examples.
Yeah.
And it's time for question and answer. And
Yeah.
if participants want to ask any questions, you can just switch on your mic, and you can ask your questions one at a time, please.
Hello, Chitrakala. Good morning, da.
Good morning. Just give me a second. I don't know who it is. I'm sorry.
Ah.
I'm just switching to.
Revati.
Yeah.
It's Revati, ma'am.
Oh, okay. How are you, ma'am? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine, da. How are you?
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing good too. Thank you.
Okay, da. I just have a one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you think this agile is a barrier for the innovative thoughts?
Agile, in fact, is a good platform for innovative thoughts, madam, because when we really talk about the agile values or the agile perspectives, how it has changed the way in which you look at things, I think that is giving more innovation or more freehand way of working than a controlled way of working. So I think agile is the way forward for more innovative way of working. So if you have anything specific, you can ask me, because agile methodology in itself has innovation tangled to it. That's what I feel.
Oh, I see. And one more question. You said about Industry 4.0.
Yes.
So how do you think, or what is your opinion in India about Industry 4.0? Is it marching towards it? What is the development?
Definitely marching, because a lot of initiatives have taken in government sector and also in private sector to exploit the IT. Digital transformation is the key. I think even the Prime Minister was talking about it when he, some time back visited USA. I think we are moving in the right direction, definitely. But the pace at which we are moving, maybe we need to concentrate on. So the corresponding sectors can just see what can be done to increase the pace, and definitely it is moving in that direction. I can see the difference. There is a lot of things. See, now you just take COVID-19. Because of IT and because of digital transformation, even LKG kids are learning online, isn't it? So
yes, that's true.
I think, so a lot of things are going, and we are able to adapt to the change or adapt to the stimulus what external world is giving. Maybe the pace at which we are doing or the intensity at which we are doing, maybe we need to think of it. It's a good question, ma'am. I really liked your question.
Okay, da. Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Hello, good morning, ma'am. This is Anita here from Chennai.
Yeah, hi Anita, how are you?
I'm good, ma'am. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too, thank you.
Okay, it was really a nice presentation, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and, thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Too. My question is how can we implement this agile way in HRM, human resource management, through employees or to know the psychology of employees or the well-being of employees?
Yeah. See, again, it is a very subjective parameter. Okay. So though I have seen, though I have said like agile is kind of a mindset. So you don't have any objective ways to pull someone into that mindset, isn't it? There are certain techniques which you can deploy, or there are certain kind of a game you can conduct and then show them that how agile can benefit. See, what you can make them believe, the only way to make them believe is to show them how they experience the agile way of working. So that is the only way you can just influence their mindset or create a psychology, positive psychology, influence their psychology, and then get pull towards the agile way. That's what I think, based on my understanding, because I deploy this even to my daughter, because you really need to have that kind of way of working, which needs to be imparted even at this stage. So the only way to make them believe is really they experience the benefits of following agile, and benefits of completing the things, and benefits of not putting anything on hold. So that is what you can influence with. Hope I answered. Or
Yes,
if you
ma'am.
need
Thank you.
more, yeah, thank you for your question. So
Thank you, ma'am.
by any chance, are you from HR practice, or BBM, or other
Uh,
departments?
yes, ma'am. I'm a assistant professor in PBA.
Oh, okay, that's great. Okay, yeah. Okay, I just forgot about one thing. We just initially told stop starting and start finishing, right? We didn't conclude. So all I wanted to tell is, I'm not telling you guys to start anything new, but I always want, don't start many things and don't put many things on work in progress, but complete the things and finish them before starting the new things. So that's all I wanted to clarify or conclude as a topic for this discussion. Yeah.
Any more questions from participants side? And Chitraka, people are asking for your PPT. Can I share?
Yeah, PPT can be
you allow
shared,
me, then I
and yeah, I think you can share it. Probably Sridevi, I'll just tell you I'll
Okay.
just give some few copyright instructions,
Okay.
and then probably you can share it through you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, dear participants, the PPT will be shared through your mail then.
I'm very much
If you have any other
eager
questions,
to, yeah, I'm very much eager to hear your feedback. Probably Sridevi is going to consolidate, and it was really an awesome participation, and I'm really feeling honored. Thanks for all your time, and hope you all stay healthy and safe during this unprecedented times. And yeah, please be agile and get out
Hello,
of
ma'am.
this pandemic. Yeah. Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
This is Nitya.
Hi, Nitya.
Your presentation is, yeah. Hi, ma'am. Your presentation is so good. I have a
Thank you very
question.
much. Yeah.
Can you say the difference between Scrum and the Agile?
Okay. Scrum is an agile technique. Okay. If you want to have an agile way of developing a software, okay, then Scrum
Okay.
will be the technique which you can use. Okay. So Scrum will
Okay.
have a designed programming way, like where you have certain phases of that particular project, and you have certain roles, and you have daily Scrum meetings, and you have sprints. Sprints are nothing but a timeline in which you deliver one particular iteration. So Scrum is a technique, but Agile in general is a methodology. Okay. So
Okay.
Scrum
Okay.
will support Agile methodology in software development or project management.
Okay. I have one more question.
Yeah, please.
How to measure a project's progress?
Okay. So, okay, the moment you decide you are going to use agile methodology, definitely you will be using a technique, because techniques and tools are there for measurement or tracking or anything else. So if you are using Scrum, okay, there is always
Okay.
a set of kind of SLAs or KPIs, key performance indicators. Okay, so for example, how much backlogs you have today than what you have planned, whether you have completed whatever you planned to complete yesterday, whether you have completed and today you're starting. If you're not doing it, then what is that stopping you to lag behind? So those kind of things, there is a chart called burn down chart. Okay, and there are user stories that will also act as a tracing mechanism between requirement and also the product you deliver, and also the schedules you can track, and also the efforts you can track. So all those things are certain parameters which you can measure to evaluate the performance of a agile project or a scrum project. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for your question. Thank you.
Any other questions, ma'am? And I think a question from Aruchami
Hello.
Rajini.
Chitra?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Rajdeepa here.
Yeah. Hi, Rajdeepa.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fine. Your presentation was very nice, very good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My pleasure.
We have got information about full of agile.
Yes,
The
because
1
it
hour
is. Yeah,
presentation
you are right.
purpose.
It is designed for layman. So I think everyone can use this as a stepping stone to to learn more about agile. Hope you also got the same idea. I'm glad.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for the presentation. We'll chat separately, okay?
Yeah, thank you, Rajdeepa, for your feedback. It
Okay,
really matters a lot. Thank you.
okay, bye. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
I think Mr. Aruchami Rajini has a question. He has posted in the chat box, and if he's here,
Oh, okay.
you can ask your question directly, sir. Is he here, Aruchami Rajini? No? Then on behalf of him, shall I ask the question, Chitrakalam?
Yeah, yes, Sridevi, please go ahead.
He's asking, can value be considered as a customer satisfaction or a criteria for
Experience can be considered as a customer in place of customer satisfaction. Value
Right.
is something which is derived from that output. Okay, so experience, see, value, what I mean is it can be quantified, but I feel the satisfaction or the experience, it's a qualitative measure. So value will lead to satisfaction, or it will give a better customer experience.
Yes,
Value
so,
can be quantified is what I will say.
Yes, Mr. Archami has got the answer for his question probably. And another question is posted in chat box from Dr. Selvi from PhD College of Arts and Science. Ma'am, are you there? Selvi, ma'am? No? Right. And she's asking what type of testing or what type of testing tools are available for applying agile technology?
There are certain testing tools like we have Ansible, and you can just carry out with the normal manual testing also, where you write the test cases and validate against the result. But there are definitely in the market, there are off the shelf, definitely there are many tools available. I am not very much sure on the names. Maybe one is Ansible, but maybe I can check it and then I can let you know. But most of the times, the agile project methodology also, if you follow Scrum, I think the traditional testing method is also deployed. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Participants, any other questions from your side? And I request all the participants to kindly fill up the feedback form. Yes, sir. Karthik, sir, you can go ahead.
Ma'am, good morning. I'm Karthik from PhD.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, sir.
Ma'am, I have a query. Yeah, fine,
please.
ma'am. Thank you. And it's a nice presentation.
Thank you very
and
much.
I have a query, ma'am. What's the thing is, in what way this agile methodology is different from the other methodology like RAD? So I don't talk about the waterfall model. I'm asking about RAD, Rapid Application Development Model.
Okay. See, rapid application development or prototyping, we can say, or I think incremental methodology. That is what we have seen. See, in rapid development also, or in prototyping also, still to get an experience of a final product, we need to wait for longer time. But Agile gives you as quick as 2 to 4 weeks. Okay.
Okay.
So this is what I feel it as a major difference. And yeah. Again, Agile is altogether, it integrates a lot of things starting from a requirement gathering and build, innovate and plan for it and then deploy it and then execute it and customer feedback. Maybe the rapid application development, prototyping, they may sound like it also little faster, but not at the pace in which Agile delivers and not at the same value it creates as a end product. It's a very generic.
So do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think the risks are very low in Agile?
Yeah. See, one way for me to support that discussion, whatever you have told is correct. See, in waterfall or any other model, the risks, whatever you try to identify at the initial stage or anything, that will be mainly with respect to the assumptions of the requirements, isn't it? Okay. So certain requirements, you're not getting it clearly and you're not able to interact or collaborate with the user effectively so that he gives the requirement properly. So you assume a lot of things and every assumption turns into risk. Okay. If it materializes. But in Agile, there is no concept of assuming any requirement. So that is where half of your risk management activities are kind of optimized. Okay. But in traditional way, since the duration is longer, you cannot foresee more risks. Okay. There are unknown risks in traditional model. But in Agile, since the timeline is also very small and you are already tuned for adaptability, I think even the risk materializes, you always have that responsiveness and then it doesn't affect much your schedule or the effort. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Any other participant is waiting for asking question? I think Nitya Devi has a question probably. She posted in the chat box.
Oh, okay.
Chitrakala, can you see the chat box?
Yeah,
Nitya
I will
Devi,
just check.
probably it's not.
I think she did
ask.
I think she did ask one question, Nitya Devi, if I remember right. I'm not sure.
Probably she was asking, can we apply Agile in hardware?
Yeah, definitely.
Or something like that. I don't
know. Yeah, see, Agile basically we got influenced in IT industry itself from manufacturing industry. So hardware, if you take it as a manufacturing or a product, production industry, definitely. But since I don't belong to that industry, how it can be applied, I don't know. Probably, yeah, we can devise a way or we can study how it can be deployed.
Thank you. And Mr. Selukumar has a question. What's your
or
suggestion ideas? Yeah.
See, one way is adopt to the new normal where you can just probably somebody's video is getting okay. That's fine. So where the new normal is everything going online and digital. So one way is that much. You can have some online classes or you can refer some online videos to the students and then later you can get into the assignment mode from that video. So that is one of the way I can think of, or you can ask them to create some innovative during this pandemic. You can enable them to be innovative and create something. When they come to college, they can showcase it because they don't have any syllabus followed test or anything, right, for some time. So maybe you can give them that free hand. So that is one way. And you can just see one another way is now Sridevi has done an excellent job, or the college has really done an excellent initiative to have a webinar done. I think for students also we can arrange something where the speakers can influence students, because this is the time their mind is already empty. You can make it flexible to your requirements is what I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions?
Hello. Hello, I'm Dr. Selvi from PSG College of Arts and Science.
Hi, Selvi. How are you?
Fine. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question, ma'am.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Instead of documents, you are maintaining lot of clients, on-site clients, right? Is this disadvantage for agile technology?
In Agile also we do have documents, Selvi. But the only difference is we don't have very elaborate and non-useful information in the document. Okay. So that is the only difference in Agile. And for customers also, because our customers are not IT people.
Okay.
But in traditional way, we were creating document using IT jargons. So that is when it lost its value because it is not being used at all. See, whatever you create, it gets its value when you use it, right? So in Agile also, we do have documents, we do have certain deliverables to the customer, but it will be purely just enough. Whatever is needed and whatever they can make sense out of it, only that much we deliver. Okay.
But while you are comparing other technologies like waterfall, you need more employees, on-site employees, right?
For Agile? No, definitely not. No, definitely not. See, Agile doesn't really demand you to work. Okay, maybe you got that point because I said it is more collaborative. That's why you need to work near to the customer. No, that doesn't mean that now I am collaborating with you, but I'm not next to you, right? So it is how effectively we collaborate, okay, and how frequently we collaborate. So that makes the collaboration effective, not sitting next to them. So it can be completely achieved in offshore model and with proper collaboration where the customer also collaborates in the expected way and the team also collaborates.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chitrakala. Take care.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Anybody is waiting for a question to be asked? If there is no question, then we'll wind up the session. I request all the participants to compulsorily fill the feedback form. And there is a question. How we can apply this technology in banking sector?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. I have not worked for a banking customer also, I'm sorry. But banking being a service industry, definitely it has, it would have already applied certain things. Nowadays, banks are giving a lot of enhanced experience or a lot of values for the customers. If you have an account open, earlier we were standing in the queue for longer time, and now I think a lot of things have come through phone, online, and even the fixed deposits you can make through online. Paperless banking, we are going ahead. I think everything is agile because it creates that value, agile values. So I think banking as a service industry, definitely it conforms. And definitely we can apply agile methodologies. How? Probably I'm not able to visualize anything, but if I think more, probably I'll get to know. It's long time since I have entered into a bank also. I'm sorry.
And there is another question. Do you think whether agile method is going to occupy the next few years? If so, how?
Definitely. Definitely, it is going to occupy, and industrialists are already forecasting Industry Revolution 5, where machine and man will coexist and then drive the production and the service. So without agile, I think you cannot compete with machines. So
thank you.
It will definitely occupy for another 2 decades, or at least even when the 5th Industry Revolution happens, you will still be talking about agile.
And there is another question from Anuradha.
Okay.
How many sectors?
I think many participants have left, so I'm not very sure whether they get that value. Yeah, we'll try to address the questions, whatever has been asked till now. Yeah. Yes, Sridevi.
Yeah, there is a question from Anuradha, and she's asking how many sectors they are following this technology. I couldn't actually get the question.
Okay.
What are the sectors they are following agile technology? Probably she might be
it could be any. people are following. It is all people centric, right? So if somebody is following process driven, they can claim that I'm following agile and this is the sector which needs to follow agile. So there is no generic comment you can make. Okay, these many sectors are already following agile. As an or if not as an organization, at least a part of their organization's division may be following agile methodology to enhance, because that is the need of the hour. So we cannot really get into that statistics, but definitely if you follow, it is good. Yeah, being agile is always being the change. So
Yeah, of course. And there is a question from Vaideki.
Uh-huh.
What is an impact of agile in real-time systems? Probably you would have addressed in your presentation.
yeah, I have addressed.
You already addressed.
It just improves your efficiency and effectiveness, and it gives you more space to get into growth zone from the comfort zone. Okay, so that's all I can say. So yeah.
And somebody's asking for success story for agile, which is already addressed in your presentation, I hope, probably.
Yeah, I think
And,
I already addressed. Yeah, that is
yeah,
one of the
after getting
success stories. So we do have many, but I think we cannot share many things. Yeah.
yeah, dear participants, after getting consent from the speakers, I'll let you give you the PowerPoint presentations of both the sessions through your mail.
Yeah.
After filling the feedback form, the participants, after filling the feedback form, can leave the meeting then. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your active participation. And I really thank Chitrakala for the acceptance and a nice presentation and the impressive presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sridevi, for this opportunity, and I'm really honored seeing the response what I have got, and many people have joined. And as I told, the new normal is really not normal. So I think they all made time to get into this session, and hope they all got what they wanted to. And I'm really, it's pleasure is mine to be part of such a great community. And thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Chitrakala. Then we'll meet then.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Take care. Stay safe.